And welcome back. This is SpeedGaming's No Kid Hungry Marathon. For more information about this marathon, check out speedgaming.org/nokidhungry to see our list of prizes and donation incentives. We do have a few prizes that are going to be ending at 11:59 tonight, so be sure to get your donations in, as well as incentives. We do have an incentive for a run that is going to be at 3:20 a.m., which is Neptunia Reverse. So go ahead and get your incentive. It is a bid war for the language between English and, I believe, Japanese. If you do have a donation and you want to put it towards an incentive, be sure to include that in your donation comment. All donations will go directly to our charity, No Kid Hungry. And now it is time to get in a little bit of our Mario block. We're going to be starting with new Super Luigi U here with M Chan. Joining M Chan is going to be Nerd Squared and Pretends to Know doing commentary. So take it away.
Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the No Kid Hungry Marathon. I'm very excited to be participating in this. Yeah, like Crimson said, these are my wonderful commentary crew. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, I am Pretends to Know. I have run both New Super Mario Bros. U and Luigi U, although I did it on the Switch. But like 99% of that knowledge carries over to the Wii U version.
Yep, I'm Nerd Squared. I've ran New Super Mario Bros. 2 in particular in the past, but I've also dabbled in all the games a little bit.
Okay. Alright, so time does not start until I start moving on the world map, which is past like a 2-minute cutscene. So I'm just going to go ahead and just begin right now. Alright, so this is New Super Luigi U for the Nintendo Wii U. It is the DLC for New Super Mario Bros. U, where this game is very similar to New Super Mario Bros. 2. The maps, the cutscenes, everything, they're the same, except there's no Mario. We're playing as Luigi instead, but Luigi actually does control differently than Mario, as he has floaty jumps, he jumps higher, he has slippery traction, so he's overall just harder to control. So it does make this game a bit harder than New Super Mario Bros. U. There's also a gimmick that every level has a 100-second time limit, so this is a pretty fast-paced game as a whole. The category I'm running is All Castles, which is a category where we do all 8 worlds in this game. As the any percent run skips worlds 2, 4, 3, 4, and 6, All Castles does all 8 worlds, so you get to see a pretty good portion of what the game is like. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is one of my favorite categories of this game. I've been working on this category for a very long time, over 6 years. Time's about to begin pretty soon. Right off the bat in the first level, I'm going to start off by getting the main power-up, which is the Super Acorn. It's going to allow me to turn to a squirrel. And as a squirrel, I can glide over a bunch of different obstacles, as well as perform some tricks in some of the later levels. And it's a very important power-up, and I'm going to be keeping it throughout the entire run. So, time's about to begin in 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay. Wait, where's Toadette?
This is not deluxe. Yeah, this game is also out on Switch, on New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, but we are playing on the Wii U version because the Wii U version is the faster of the two versions. So there we go, we got our Super Acorn right there, and we just beat the level right there, so it's a very short, so this game is much shorter than New Super Mario Bros. U, as you can see. Kind of see what the levels are already like.
And if everything goes according to plan, that will be the only acorn that M-Chan needs for the entire run. And the only power-up he will use.
Okay, so right here, I'm gonna go to the back and get the star. Stars allow you to turn invincible. So you can tank through a bunch of enemies as well as get a movement speed increase. And then I'm going to chain that with that star block right there. If I hit that star block while I have a star, then it'll contain another star, allowing me to go through that section with all those Koopa Troopas and Piranha Plants. Otherwise, normally that's a very awkward section to do. And
Yeah.
so normally, in any percent we get the secret exit, but we're gonna get the normal exit because we're trying to beat every world as fast as we can, and not the entire game as fast as we can. So coming up is our first instance where we use Nabbit, and so by holding a certain button on the gamepad, I can select a level, and then it'll give me temporary access to using Nabbit. And Nabbit's a character who doesn't die, so I can just run through a bunch of things and not get hit or die.
Yeah. Yeah. In this run, only way Nabbit can die is if he's crushed by an obstacle or if he falls into a pit. Otherwise he can just run straight through anything. I guess it's a little trivia fact because Boom Boom is a fairly straightforward boss. Is the only enemy that can hurt Nabbit. Is I forget what the fish is called, but it's a big mouth bass and it can eat Nabbit.
Yeah. All right. So yeah,
you will not see it in this. You will not see it in this run.
Yeah, so yeah, the bosses every tower is Boom Boom, and all you do is just jump on him 3 times and you basically win. So that is so I am using the gamepad. Like a lot of Wii U speedruns, gamepad is the preferred controller to use. It's not the most comfortable, but we use the gamepad anyway because in a lot of Wii U speedruns, the touchscreen options on the gamepad are faster to navigate through than just manually selecting different options.
Yeah. Throughout the life cycle of the Wii U, Nintendo pushed the gamepads really hard, and that shows when in speed running the game because those options are on the touch screen are faster than navigating, as M-Chan said.
So this is our first fork in the road where you have an option between 2 levels, and generally we're going to pick the faster of the 2 levels. So this level is about maybe 4 seconds faster than the other level, in addition to the fact that I have to avoid a Piranha Plant later on. So coming up is our first castle. And castles tend to be, supposedly in a casual playthrough, are harder than towers. But this particular level is very straightforward, as we're going to be pretty much gliding over everything. Something that I'm doing here while I have the Super Acorn is, this has been asked, somebody in chat is right now asking this, but gliding is the same speed as running in full speed. But what I'm doing is I'm actually doing a short hop followed by a glide immediately after, and that actually gains max speed quicker. And there's so many instances where I do this, and so it saves a few frames each time, but because I do it so much, it adds up over the course of the run. The other thing to talk about the Super Acorn is that I do these spin jumps every once in a while, and sometimes it's for show, but other times it's because when you spin jump with the Super Acorn, it's actually the same height as a triple jump, and that extra height does make a difference to make like large gaps or just helps with vertical movement.
Yeah. I guess another trivia fact is that spin jump into gliding is so useful that Nintendo nerfed it when they put the Acorn in Super Mario Maker 2. If you do a spin jump, you cannot go into a glide.
Okay, so that was the first world right there. We just fought our first major boss, which is a Koopaling. After every castle, that one was Lemmy Koopa. Bosses in this game, whenever you fight them the same way, then you get consistent results. There's a few exceptions in this game later on, which we'll go over, but for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. So we're now moving on to the second world, Layer Cake Desert. It's our desert-themed world, and this is where the game gets a little bit harder from here. We're gonna begin the first level right now.
I guess another trivia fact, while Chan is gliding over this level, is in the Switch, in all castles, you do this level as Nabbit, because when you switch to Nabbit, it will, and leave the level as Nabbit, it will remove a cutscene that we are going to see after this level. But in this game, since you're always Luigi on the overworld map, you can't skip the cutscene.
Yeah, so we have to... So in this cutscene right here, Toad's gonna come up to us and say that some guy named Nabbit has stole stuff, and a lot of the times we don't really care. You have to, because you have to go so far out of your way to catch Nabbit. The reward you get for catching Nabbit is a P acorn, the P acorn is useful in some levels, but because it takes so much time to catch Nabbit, we don't do it at all.
Yeah.
The P acorn is a power up that pretty much allows you to fly infinite times. So it is a pretty useful power up, but it takes so much time to get. This level is a dark level, so you kind of have to put in a little bit of effort to kind of know the layout of this level. But when you do this level so many times, you kind of just know what it's like. And also when you're Nabbit, you don't really have to... It's not like as difficult as this level appears to be, as you can just run through all these giant piranha plants and fire bros. I'm gonna do something really cool right here. That wall jump right there is just so I can get full speed quicker. Saves a few frames.
Yeah.
Now we have 2-Dash Tower, which is kind of a technical level. It's one of my favorite levels to practice. Hopefully I get this.
Yeah, back years ago, playing this level, we would spin the thing as wide as we could, but then we figured out that if you go less, you can still squeeze through and save time because you're spending less time spinning.
Yeah, it's a little bit risky, and normally in attempts, when I'm doing actual attempts, I'd actually cut that very last part a little bit closer than I made that. Since it doesn't save that much time, I just decided to just add in a little bit of extra safety. Alright, so Kamek powers up Boom Boom to make Boom Boom do something different each time to make it seem like it's harder, but there are ways to... we have ways to fight Boom Boom quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up... go on.
Continue, this is more important.
Okay, so coming up is one of the biggest run killers here. This is the bridge. We have to get past this bridge. There's a Goomba and a Fire Bro that I have to get past, and without running into them. Otherwise, I initiate a fight with them and it loses 20 seconds. Recently, there's a way to make the RNG in this part a little bit more favorable, but it's not guaranteed. It's not 100%. So we'll see what happens here. Oh boy. Okay, we're through. Okay, we gotta run. So yeah, as you can see right there, they move at random. and there's not really a good way to tell which direction they're going to be moving at. They can move at any direction at any time. So that's a very big run killer if you happen to run into them and it's not in your control. Ooh, that was a little weird.
Also, even like in world record attempts, like if you want to get the you don't want to get the acorn because it takes time to add to your inventory. And like I said earlier, if everything goes according to plan, we'll only need the one. Here it was just, it's not quite worth going out of the way for. So, c'est la vie.
Yeah, you can get items in the overworld, and there's an acorn in World 1 that I could have gotten, and it loses, and it takes like 8 seconds to get. I could grab it for extra safety, but hopefully the run doesn't go that badly.
Honestly, even if something goes wrong, it's not a serious issue to just deroute, go get it, and then come back. Like, it's annoying, but it's not marathon breaking.
Yeah. So right there, I got the secret exit of that level. You might be thinking that's really strange, but in a little bit I'll explain it later. It'll make sense. But just know that I got the secret exit there, and there is a purpose as to why I grabbed it. But for now, I'm just moving on. This level right here. Okay, that was a mistake right there. What I'm doing here, you kind of saw it a little bit in 1-3. But I actually am, when you spin jump off of anything that's moving, then you actually keep your momentum. So you can kind of see how fast I am moving from those rolling hills when I spin jump off of them.
Yeah, this game, for the most part, is glitchless. Spin jumping off of those rollers is one of the few exploits in this game.
Okay, Morton's Castle, not much to say about it. Unless you're running 100%, there's a little bit more to explain. But because we're not getting any of the star coins at all, there's no reason to get any of the star coins at all. We just pretty much just fly over everything. And then we have Morton Koopa Jr. And Morton Koopa Jr. is kind of an interesting fight, as he's going to start off by spawning a giant Pokey that he uses to wall himself, and he normally hammers the Pokey's body parts at you, and you have to dodge him and wait for the Pokey to be short enough for you to jump over the Pokey and then hit Morton. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to fly over this and then hit him this way. That way I can hit Morton earlier. That's actually a pretty risky first hit there, the way I did it there, because Morton's hammer actually has a really huge hitbox, so it's really easy to get knocked back by the hammer. You can also do a damage boost through the Pokey, and then it is faster, but then I have to re-equip Acorn later on, and that loses more time.
Yeah. And also, there's no Acorn to re-equip right now, so...
Oh, yeah, I also skipped the World 2 Acorn, so I'm so far Acornless. Which actually can save time if you're lucky in normal attempts. Okay, coming up is a split path here. We have Worlds 3 or 4. I'm going to do World 4 first on the top, Frosted Glacier. Because by doing this, I could save about 10 seconds in World 3, and we'll explain why later. In the true warpless route of this game, you can do one of these worlds, and the other world is optional, as both these worlds will take you to World 5. But we, as a community, we agreed that All Castles is the more interesting variation of Warpless.
I concur.
Okay, so that was
Also mainly because
go on.
yeah, I was about to say that barrel was a close one, but yeah, Warpless in this game would basically amount to no secret levels and then also skipping one of the worlds, and it's just considering the level that we're going to that's going to be cut out later, it's just more fun and also makes more sense for the way the map is laid out in this game.
Yeah. Okay, so something we didn't talk about yet is that the way you get fireworks in this game is you have to have the last 2 digits of your in-game timer to end with the matching digits, and so you get fireworks, and then you get a free item at the end. But as Nabbit cannot get fireworks, so right there, even though that level is easier to do as Luigi, I use Nabbit so I can avoid fireworks, because ending a level there with the 77 is the fastest end time you get.
Yeah, and getting an item is like a 15 to 30 second time loss. So even the item that's worth getting, which in this case was 77 for another backup acorn, it is not worth the major time loss unless all the overworld acorns are gone, and even then it's just to be avoided.
Another boom boom fight right here, pretty straightforward. Also, the climb in this tower was a little bit technical, a little bit risky with Luigi because I do have a chance to get hit. There were a lot of tight spaces that I went through as Luigi. So it was really easy for me to get hit. But if I did get hit, it wouldn't be a big of a deal because there's a free acorn that later on that I would get that loses like no time. But yeah. So the next couple of levels are pretty straightforward. If there's any donations, this would be a pretty good time.
We do have one donation here from Nexlation. $20 just says speedrun with a smiley face. Speedruns are great. Love the community and really thankful for all the speedrunners here that are helping out the No Kid Hungry campaign. I do also just want to note that it is coming up on the end of my shift here, so I do want to thank you all for all the donations that you have given throughout the night. Continue to do so. We do have a lot more great runs coming up, as well as great incentives and prizes. And I will see you all back here Saturday morning. That's when my next shift will be. But you are in great hands tonight. Following me will be Yunker's wife. So stay tuned. A lot of great Mario, and then I believe also some Pokemon Yellow by M-Chan as well.
Yep. Okay, so I picked up that acorn right there. It is that you can avoid that acorn, but I passed by this ring so many times that it's just not faster to avoid that acorn every single time.
Also, that was when M-Chan mentioned earlier there was a acorn worth that would not be out of the way. It wasn't that one. It was the one that he just jumped over. As Nabbit, you do not want to collect items, though, because every time Nabbit collects an item, at the end of the level, he essentially eats it for a 1-up, and that takes time. Less time than fireworks, but still more time than you want to spend.
This is our first ghost house right here, and ghost houses normally in Mario games are like these complex levels that kind of trick the players into getting lost, but I guess they couldn't figure out how to make these levels complex with a 100-second time limit. So the ghost houses in this game are just straightforward. The other thing that you're seeing me do is, at the end of every level, I'm grabbing the flagpoles wherever I want, and that's because it doesn't matter where I grab the flagpoles, but I am turning backwards right before grabbing the flagpoles, and that just saves the turning animation on the flagpoles.
It saves a few frames, but it adds up over the course of, like, what, 50 levels?
49, yeah. A lot of levels that we do. So this is Wendy's castle. As you can see, casually, it's a pretty kind of fun level to do because you have all these thwomps, and you have to run past all these thwomps here. So it's kind of a speedrunner type of level right here. Right here, you're supposed to wall jump, but you can just do a little tight turn back in order to skip the wall jump there, and it saves a second. A lot of these optimizations that we do to kind of save time here and there, as this category is very optimized. Okay, Wendy. Wendy has kind of an awkward hitbox. Normally we try to like optimize the our hits on bosses by hitting them like as soon as they're vulnerable. But Wendy's timing is a little bit awkward, so I just kind of take it a little bit safe. I let her get up for a little bit and kind of just have her like jump into me slightly, like that.
Yeah. Also, even though Nabbit is invincible, he still takes knockback. He still gets knocked back whenever he misses, and it's just time you don't want to lose. So
yeah, it's a little bit of an annoying time loss if you get hit by a boss just from timing it too early. Okay, so normally this would now take us to World 5, but we're actually going to go back, because this is all castles, so we have to do every world. So we're going to go backtrack to World 3, and while we're making our way back to World 3, we're going to grab this baby Yoshi right here. Takes about 8 seconds to grab him, but this is going to allow us to save quite a lot of time in one level here in World 3. It's very worth it.
yeah, Also, this Yoshi shoots bubbles that turns enemies into coins. And casually, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. But pairing Baby Yoshi throughout this level is slow, so we use Nabbit. Because the flagpole animation with Baby Yoshi is much longer. So while the level is easier to do as Luigi, we just use Nabbit so we can save time on the flagpole animation. And then coming up here in 3-2 is where we take advantage of the Baby Yoshi that we picked up. And this is the only level where we use Baby Yoshi. When you're carrying Baby Yoshi in the water, then you do these like twirls and you move really fast.
Yeah. Anyone who's familiar with Mario swing physics throughout the entire franchise knows that it's not fast to swim forward in it. With Baby Yoshi, you're able to swim like that, and also, as an added bonus, the fact he eats enemies directly in front of him means you're less likely to get hit.
Yeah, but it's slower to eat enemies because the game you kind of stop in place for a little bit just to eat the enemies. So I was trying to avoid eating as many enemies as possible. So in that level alone, it saves 20 seconds. So you save like a net 12 seconds getting that Baby Yoshi.
Yeah, and also, for anyone who's played Deluxe and wonders why you don't play as Nabbit in that level, well, hang on. First off, you got to play the hardest level, but the difference between this level is night and day with Nabbit versus Luigi.
Yeah, this is the biggest time save with Nabbit, as Nabbit can just go through all these skewers. Normally, you're supposed to wait for a bunch of different cycles with those skewers as Luigi, but with Nabbit, you can just jump through all those skewers, and Nabbit just doesn't care.
Yeah, but I guess it's going to be relevant here in this next level. What I was saying is, for those who've played Deluxe and wondering why M-Chan didn't play as Nabbit in the last level and use his swimming physics, because Nabbit in the Switch has much better swimming physics than Luigi. It's because that's a Switch exclusive edition. In this game, Nabbit has the same swimming physics as Luigi. And you'll see it briefly in this level.
Yeah, so there's a lot of these boo rings that you would have to find a way to maneuver around as Luigi. So with Nabbit, we just simplify that by just going through all those boo rings.
Yeah. All right, and also under the water, besides the swimming physics, is also a bunch of dry bones fish.
Rip bomb fishes, and they're out there. They're waiting for you when you fall in the water. Okay, 3-3. 3-3, it has these cycles of these water geysers, and they can be kind of a pain to deal with. This is the very long section of the geyser. There is a kind of a YOLO strat that you can kind of go for here, but it's a kind of an IL strat that not very many people go for. But it can save a second if you can do it, but it's really hard and you're very likely to die. So I just kind of take that part a little bit safe. Yeah, come up to 3-5, which is another water level. And in very old runs, we used to keep Baby Yoshi up to 3-5, but this is a vertical swimming level, so Baby Yoshi doesn't really benefit that much. And so we just get rid of Baby Yoshi after 3-2 because it takes longer to start levels when you carry Baby Yoshi. This level, you just have to mash as fast as you can in order to optimize this level.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so if you mash very fast and do this level perfectly, then you get an 81.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Okay, 3-Castle is split into 3 different parts. This is kind of the only level where it's a bit of a preference as to which character to use between Luigi or Nabbit. Some people like to use Nabbit because it makes this water section easier, as you don't have to deal with these torpedo Teds as much as Nabbit. But I like to use Luigi because the first and third section are much easier to platform as Luigi, as you can glide over some of these platforms here.
Also, a small note about the third section is if M-Chan lingered there for any reason, he would be run over by a bonsai I forget what they call the Mega Bonsai guys, but
Atomic Bill.
the point is we get out of there fast enough so we don't even see them.
Yeah. Okay, Larry Koopa. So like I said, bosses are consistent whenever you fight them the same way. But with Larry Koopa, if you mess up in this fight, then it messes up the cycles of these geysers, and then it could also just affect the outcome of this fight as well. This I have always seen this exact pattern each time for Larry, so don't have to worry about his slight randomness. Yeah, so we just completed Worlds 3 and 4, and so now World 5 is going to be unlocked from both worlds, but we're actually not going to go to World 5 from this direction, because the next level is 5-Airship. It's kind of an intermission type of level, and 5-Airship has kind of a long cutscene when you begin it, and then there's a very long auto-scroller, as well as a very painful boss fight, and then a long cutscene after that. So what we're doing instead is we are going to backtrack all the way back to World 2, and remember that secret exit that I got from 2-4 earlier? This is where this secret exit is going to come into play. I'm going to do this level, 2-secret, and this will also take us to World 5, but skip into Airship.
Yeah, I think that Airship is the longest level in this game.
Yes, actually. Maybe it can be computable with Bowser's Castle, but yes, it is the longest level in the game.
Yeah. Right. I always forget that fighting Bowser counts as part of that level.
Yeah. But yeah, so even though it takes us time, we had to go out of our way to get a secret exit and then backtrack back to World 2. This is still faster than the Airship, so I believe it saves like about a minute. It's a very huge time save for just to skip one level.
Oh yeah. I mean, even in the 100% category where you have to do all the levels, we still beat the game before we go to that Airship because it removes the cutscenes surrounding the level.
Alright, World 5 is kind of where all castle starts to get pretty interesting, as the worlds have been pretty straightforward, but here in World 5, we're going to be doing a pretty huge skip in order to skip a lot of World 5. But first off, we have 5-1, and this is not a new strat anymore, but it's something but it's still kind of recent. Where as you can see right here, I'm actually gaining a lot of speed when I am jumping from these swinging vines. And that's because I'm actually holding neutral on the D-pad as I am jumping from those vines. It actually keeps my speed as I am jumping from those vines, and you gain so much speed that it actually saves 3 seconds in 5-1. So very revolutionary trick, especially in the any percent category. So now here we are going into 5-2. Normally in any percent we do 5-3 because it's faster than doing 5-2. But we are going to the end of the world as fast as we can, not to the end of the game as fast as we can. So what we're doing here in 5-2 is we're getting the secret exit here. And this secret exit's going to skip a lot of World 5. We're going to go straight to the bottom section. World 5 is divided up into 3 parts. We got the first section where we have 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, and 5-Tower, which features a really difficult skip. And then there's a Haunted Forest section where there's a ghost house, as well as 2 of the hardest levels in the game, and an RNG. But then this secret exit here is going to allow us to skip that section entirely and go straight to the bottom section. So we actually do 4 levels. This is the shortest world of the run.
So yeah, I think that section's officially called the Grimly Woods.
It's like
Something
Haunted
like that?
Forest or something like that. I always forget what it is.
Oh well, point is that in this category it's called Overpass.
Yeah. Okay, we skip a lot of levels here, so then we're doing 5-6. All that movement looks pretty scary, and it kind of is. You just have to go through all those sumo bros that are shooting down the lightning that will electrocute you if you get hit by them.
Yeah.
And I'm also oh, I actually chose the wrong character. That's fine. That actually makes this level easier. So I guess it's not that bad, but I mean, still kind of a time loss. But anyway, 5-Castle. If I was playing as Nabbit, which I kind of had a brain fart there. If I was playing as Nabbit, I would have then I would actually take advantage of these swinging chains that I showed off in 5-1 as well. But you can still kind of do it with Luigi. But when you start gliding, it actually kills that momentum. So it's not as effective with Luigi, but it's still worth it if you can do it.
Yeah. Now, the real cost is you got to rely on RNG to get Iggy off the ceiling early instead of using Nabbit to absorb all those shots.
Yeah, so if I was playing as Nabbit, I would actually let's see if I okay, no. Oh, okay, he's facing. We dodge him real quick. Okay, there we go. Alright, so normally this first phase would be faster as Nabbit, but kind of a mistake that on my end, but that's okay. Not a huge loss. This run's been mostly good so far, so not too worried about it.
Oh yeah, also when M-Chan has been talking about bosses and saying if you do them the same way, you get the same results, and he's been saying most of them, Iggy is the exception. Iggy always forces you into a first phase because you can't reach him before he gets on the ceiling. And then Nabbit makes it easier by absorbing those shots, because he can absorb the shots, and Iggy comes down on off the ceiling when his shots are gone, including the lava monster that he spawned. So you can block that by taking the red shot. And then he becomes a little more predictable, but still that first phase is the most RNG heavy boss in the entire game.
Yeah, as far as the Koopalings are concerned, yeah. You can do as Luigi, but you lose your acorn, which means I have to re-equip it again. I mean, it can save time, but I am not going to do that. I want to save my resources.
Yeah.
There is actually a way where you can actually hit Nabbit on the ceiling, which skips that phase entirely, but as an IL strat. Alright, World 6 is the most complex world as far as routing is concerned, as well as the hardest world of the run. There's a lot of levels in... We do basically every level except for the first level as Luigi. So there are plenty of opportunities where you can lose your acorn, but that's not really the biggest issue. The biggest issue is most mistakes that you make in World 6 are usually add up pretty quickly to being several seconds.
Yeah,
In the next level coming up, there's a... I guess you can call it kind of an exploit. It's called the Hidden Block Clip. It's not really a clip, but it's, I mean, it will not look like a clip, but it's kind of a clip. You wanna explain how that works?
yeah. Okay, in the tower there are Kaizo blocks blocking the way forward. When you hit a Kaizo block in this game, it temporarily raises Luigi's hitbox. While he's in that raised state, if M-Chan times a acorn double
Nice.
jump before he goes through, before he gets out of that, he will miss the hitbox for the other Kaizo block and therefore make it through the path.
Yeah, so it didn't look like anything there, but I actually flew. Those are hidden blocks that I just went through. If you fly at a very precise time, you fly through those hidden blocks, and it actually saves 6 seconds because you're supposed to reveal those hidden blocks, so that way those grolls can break those middle blocks. That way you can actually get through. And this is the last Boom Boom fight, where Kamek gives him wings. So you're supposed to wait for him to go down, but we can just wall jump and jump on and gain enough height to hit Boom Boom, and that's pretty much the fight. That's all Boom Boom.
Yep. The only time in this run where we visibly know what Kamek did to affect the fight.
Alright, there we go. A little bit of technical movement there to avoid all those spikes and their spiky balls.
Yep. And yes, M-Chan landing in front of that one spike was as close as it looked.
Yeah, it's very easy to get hit by that one spike that I was right next to. Okay, so this level, I'm gonna get the secret exit here, and this secret exit's very important for this world. As
Yeah.
you might notice that the gimmick of World 6 is there are these red and blue switches that like turn on whichever color of the blocks that are active, and whichever switch is active affects which pathing you're gonna take. So this secret exit's gonna be very important, as this is gonna allow us to pass by this red switch right there on the side, because we want the red switches to be on at this point.
Yes. What that would allow M-Chan to do is skip an entire level and make the Roy's castle shorter.
Okay, so coming up is a very precise quick kill. Hopefully I get this.
I'm holding my breath.
Got it! Okay, so if you fly at a very precise time before the Sumo Bro jumps up to the middle, then you can knock the Sumo Bro down, and then just it makes this fight so much easier. It saves a lot of time in this fight over the normal strat. The other alternative strat is to try and clip through his hitbox, and his hitbox is not very favorable at all.
Yeah, you can lose a lot of time just bouncing off of him, trying to do the quick, unsafe strat, which is thing in of itself.
Yeah.
Level's over though. We're on to Roy.
All right, so getting the secret exit is going to allow us to access the back entrance of Roy's castle. So Roy's castle is kind of unique, as there's two different ways to enter Roy's castle, and we're going to enter the back entrance. It's much faster, 5 seconds as opposed to the 15-20 seconds that it takes normally. So we just get to Roy Koopa much quicker this way, and in 100% this is your favorite Koopaling because you fight him twice.
Yeah, and at the same time, he's also somehow kind of the easiest one, because if you know what you're doing, he fires that one bullet, and then pretty much you just wait until he gets out of his shell and stun lock him.
Yes, I'm a winner.
It's worth noting I got a 162 at the end of that level, which is actually not easy because it actually depends on the block. The block at the very end of the level is random, so it kind of depends on which block you get, and then you have to react accordingly. So I actually got a perfect level time there. Really happy with that. Just something I thought I'd point out for like optimizations. But coming up is World 7, and World 7 is a world that nobody has ever lost runs to. So let's see what happens. But this will probably be the only time where I probably call serious time for this, because 7-1 is one of my least favorite levels to do. So hopefully I get through this level just fine. I have to not make any mistakes, otherwise the fuzzy cycles are going to be off. There's a very precise jump that I have to try and make.
It's
Got it. So yeah, that very last jump there didn't really look like much, but you have about a few frames to make that. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit by those fuzzies that I jumped over. And also,
Yeah,
and then
and-
you can also die as well.
yeah. Also, all those ice balls, those ice bros were firing, they move a lot faster than it looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
So, the path splits. The left path is faster than the right path, so that's the one we're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, fun trivia fact, there's a star in this level that Enchan just passed, but it's rarely worth getting because the star can, you have to hit a chain chomp to break a bunch of bricks, and that makes for a RNG which isn't worth it.
Okay, very nice. 7 Tower is kind of a tricky level to do. To do it, yes, and then also the boss fight that no one has ever lost runs to. Hopefully I don't make a first.
Yes, everyone who has ever speedrun this game only has positive things to say about K-Mech.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, like Pretend said, the boss of this level is Kamek. Great, fantastic boss. I have never, ever lost a run to this guy.
Yeah. The first two phases of this, and the reason
Oh
why
my
we're both
goodness. Okay, that
talking
was pretty good
with
right
such
there.
heavy sarcasm is entirely RNG. Enchan got RNG. The third time, he always spawns in the same place to attack after you hit him the second time. So, hooray for getting actual good RNG in a marathon run.
Yeah, very notorious for kind of losing good runs on this guy in marathons, but we got vengeance this time.
Yeah, this level, while safer as Luigi, the fastest time you can get on it is an 88, which would trip fireworks. The item you get is a superstar, which, while it would speed up your run time, it would not speed it up enough to make up for the 15 seconds getting it.
Yeah.
And the extra seconds equipping it. So, because Nabbit can get an 88, we go for an 88.
Yeah, and the jump that I made in that ghost house looks kind of scary, but but there's a setup to make it 100% consistent.
Yeah, Nabbit has Luigi's physics, and they can float you a lot further in this game than it looks. So, castle in this
Nice.
game, the theme is sliding blocks. Second one starts moving. Inchan's about to do a really risky thing, but it works.
Yeah.
It cuts out a pretty long cycle otherwise of waiting for the bars to get out of the way, and the box.
Yeah, that jump that I made was a lot more precise than I made it look. It's really easy. If you mess up, you're very likely to get hit by the fire bars there. And this level is not a level where you want to lose your acorn at all, because as you just saw, what I did here is Ludwig normally has an attack phase, but you can just fly up before Ludwig does his attack phase at all, which skips his attack phase entirely. Normally Ludwig clones himself, you have to guess which Ludwig's the right Ludwig, but with the acorn you just skip that entirely, and then the whole fight's straightforward from there.
Yep.
Coming up is 7-Airship, so we're finally going to do an Airship. It's another intermission level. It's kind of the calm before the storm, before we get to World 8, the final world. It's normally an auto-scroller. You have to wait for, you have to let a giant cloud ride you across the level, but we're gonna try and skip it. Hopefully. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah. The level is full of bob-bombs, the section that he's talking about, and the goal is to bounce on them. If you do not, however though, they sometimes have weird hitboxes, so if you don't land on them the right way, you lose your acorn, fall in the pit, and die.
So we got it there. Very nice. It's actually that is harder than I made it look. That's actually a very common theme with this game. A lot of things that I'm making look really easy, but as I said right in the beginning of the run, Luigi's movement is very difficult. So it does take time. Unlike in every other NSMB game, it does take time to kind of get used to movement in order to be able to nail these levels. So this is Bowser Jr. I'm gonna try and do the fight, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that did look easy, but Bowser Jr.'s hitbox is really small. It is like dead center, and so as a result, the hitbox is not very favorable. There's been a lot of clips by a lot of runners where it kind of looks like you hit him, but then you either get knocked out of hitting him, or you just get hit, go right through him, or you get hit and hit him at the same time. It's a mess. And then if you lose your acorn in this fight at all, then it's completely random. It's even more random than Kamek.
Yeah. Oh yeah, also trivia fact, that claw that just punched through the airship was also in the first half of the level, but we just flew past it.
Ho-ho! Wah!
Hey, if you have one donation, then this would be a good time. No? Okay. Alright.
No, we do not.
Oh, we don't? Okay. Alright, that's fine. Alright. We're approaching the final world, which is World 8. And World 8, if you ever watch speedruns of New Super Mario Bros. U, then the World 8 route that we do is different in this game. As you get the normal exit in Mario U, but in Luigi U we get the secret exit, because it allows you to skip two pretty difficult levels. But in Mario, you take the normal exit, even though you do one extra level, because there's a skip in 8-2, which is the level that you normally would do in normal route of the game. That saves more time than doing 8-4, because 8-4 in Mario U is a very long autoscroller, but it's not an autoscroller in this game, so it is worth getting the secret exit here. So in this level, there's raining fireballs that are random, usually. But you don't really worry about it that much as Nabbits, because you can just go right through the fireballs. But it's still impactful because you could lose a second, which I did in this level, over the best fireball pattern. So it's not. So while it's not that, while it's only a second, it's still something to keep in mind of when optimizing this game.
So yeah, and continuing with fireballs, fireballs are also the obstacle in this next level. Fortunately, they are not random. However, though, unfortunately, just because they're not random doesn't mean they're not in the way.
Yeah, you just saw me fly underneath one of the fireballs by doing a very precise jump. So this level is very technical. This is one of those levels where you can't be too fast or too slow, otherwise, because the cycles that you make in this level are very specific. Okay, current event is you're supposed to ride this elevator that takes you across the level, but we're gonna fly across the level instead without riding the elevators. This is called elevator skip. In Mario U, this is a very infamous trick, as it's like known across the entire Mario series as the hardest trick ever. But in this game, it's, well, as you can see, very simple. That second jump that you saw me do there, it's actually very precise. I jumped low enough to not hit that bomb, as well as, and then high enough so I don't hit that spark. So it's very precise.
Yeah, we use the term Luigi U players use the term elevator skip to have leverage over Mario U players.
Okay, so we're approaching 8-Castle 2, or Bowser's Castle, which is the final battle. It's the very last level of the game. Here we have Bowser Jr. He's gonna try and mess us over. Normally, you can actually manipulate Bowser Jr.'s movement by moving exactly the same way each time, but by doing what I just did there, you can actually grab onto the right side of Bowser Jr. And that's to get Bowser Jr. to move to the right continuously. And you just move so fast this way, and it saves 2 seconds over the most consistent strat.
Yeah, that borders a exploit, but it's great to have when, because otherwise.
Oh wait, hold on. Hardest fight in the game.
Bowser Jr. chasing you.
Oh my goodness! Oh my god! How did I do that?
For the record, those fireballs are not random.
Yeah, it's always the same. But yeah, so in that Bowser fight, you jump so high that you can just simply jump over Bowser.
Yeah, even if M-Chan was a small Luigi, he would have cleared that jump.
But wait, what's happening? What did they do? Let's save the princess before anything happens.
Yep. Or as Billy Mays would say, wait, there's more.
Actually, I think the phrase is, but I'm not done yet.
There's the princess? What?
I get...
Okay, so spoilers. Yes, this is not the end. We have the true final boss, Bowser, Giant Bowser. Okay, so there's a lot to explain here. First thing here is I'm gonna go for Fireball Skip. Basically, Bowser shoots 2 fireballs, but if I fly right as he shoots his first fireball, then skips his second fireball. And then, coming up here, oh my god, I'll let you explain this.
M-Chan's going to steal a clown car from Bowser Jr., and then after he hits, that's how you hit Bowser, and after he steals it, after what you're supposed to do is Bowser Jr. steals it back. However, though, if you time it right, you can keep Bowser Jr. from doing that, and hold on to the clown car, skipping, being able to make the fight much, much faster.
Alright, time's coming up.
You gotta navigate carefully.
Time.
Bowser will make things difficult.
Yeah, alright, what do we got?
Unless he doesn't.
101.36. Oh, wow! That is really good. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that is like within 15, 20 seconds of world record.
15 seconds. Well, I don't have the world record anymore, but it is 15 seconds within my PB. So I'm really happy with that run. I think the only notable mistake I made was 2-6. That only lost me like 2 or 3 seconds, and then everything else is just little things here and there. So yeah, that run was really good. I'm really happy with this run.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a 101 is not very easy to do. So yeah. So you guys want to say anything before we move on to the next game?
If you ever play this level as on the Switch, fight Bowser as Peachette, because the cutscene with Peach is a lot funnier.
What about you, nerd? I know you were like quiet the entire time, but do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I was just kind of an observer for this run because I'm not as familiar with Luigi U as I am with 2, which is going to be the next run coming up. But yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I've only came back to this game for the first time within 13 months, just to prepare for this event. And so I'm always happy to come back and get something like this. And yeah, I have a pretty long history with this game. I've ran this game for about 6 years now. And so it's a very long time. I'm kind of known to being the oldest runner of in the community as far as like how long I've ran this. So if you like what you see and you want to know more about the game, then I do stream this game every once in a while nowadays. So up next is New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I don't really have much else to say, so I will see you guys at New Super Mario Bros. 2 within a few minutes.
Remember to donate for the cause.
Yeah, keep donating, everybody.